Hey, check this out. This, you see that? This is an assault rifle, a real assault rifle. Okay? You see the little bugs right there? It has salt and it's assaulting flies. So it's an assault rifle. Man, welcome. My name is Hector Brito, and today is WTF, What the Friday. I want to share with you some thoughts that are related to that device that I just showed you. Have you ever had an invention that you come up with and it's so cool and you share with a couple of friends, but nothing happens with it and you just dismiss it? Later on, you see it. Look, I had that not once, but several times. And so what happened was, you know the knee boards? I designed them like 5 years before I saw them on the market. It's crazy, right? So if you're like me, you probably get stuck on, you know, what to say, when to say it, where to go, how to start something. And that happens because in your mind, everything makes sense when you're thinking about it. Because, see, we think in pictures. We don't think in language. It's not like, you know, you go and then, you know, something like this comes out of your mind. No, it's pictures. We store information in pictures. And in that place, we get lost because we don't know how to compose the puzzle. And so I want to talk to you today about mind mapping and brain hacks. These are two separate techniques that I have combined in order to get me to be successful through the process of organizing my mind, of organizing steps, of meeting the goals. So what happens is that, you know, we get to goals and we're like, oh yeah, there's a goal. That, you know, goal setting. Every year is the same thing, and I don't want to set goals. I'm not a goal setter because for whatever the reason you create those goals or don't create them, or you write them down but you don't have follow through. And then you wonder why other people, you know, talk about it. You know, there's records that say people have, you know, that set goals and write them down. Actually, is only 10% of the population, and then everybody else who doesn't works for those people who make and write down the goals. So first of all, I apologize for saying the right, because I am trying to put the dots together in a very clear fashion, but at the same time, I'm struggling for getting to the real point. There's so much that I want to share with you. You know, bottom line is, I'm telling you that I have been there. I have been there where you get stuck, and that feeling of, you know, losing out. It's called the FOMO, the fear of missing out. It eventually gets a hold of you, and then you don't know how to progress. You don't know how to move forward, and it affects you in a negative way instead of moving you positively, because you're not self-motivated. At least you don't think. And so mind mapping is a form of taking a thought, putting it on paper in such a way that you're basically creating a dance on paper to be able to look at all the components, all the tasks, you know, who to call, what to do, what not to do. Those are important. What things you can delegate, what things, you know, how many phone calls to make. And all these steps, they get jumbled up inside of us. And even when we write them down. But mind mapping is very different. Okay, it's different because what it does, it creates a flow of steps that are easy for you to take, because the priorities float to the top when you know how to mind map the right way. Second, so not only is it important to mind map, but it's also important for you to be able to make those ideas concrete. There is an ancient book that talks about it, and in the English translation of that ancient book, it says, write the vision and make it plain, so that he who runs can run, and even if it delays, don't lose heart. So there is a portion about certainty, and I think that that's part of the process of pursuing a goal. I'm going to cover some of the details for you today, but when you have a concept, to go from here to here can seem an eternity. To go from here, to believe in it, right? So one thing is to think about it, another thing is to believe in it, another thing is actually to bring it out through your hands and make it happen. That, my friend, is more difficult, okay? So to make the nebulous tangible, there are techniques, and let me share that with you, okay? One of the techniques is what I call a simple approach. It's a primal sophistication, or a primal strategy. What it is called brain mapping, and you start with one circle. The circle from there, you put out, I like to do it in a clockwise rotation. I put the title, and then I put down the objective, the mission, the vision, the passion, the impact, the medium. Medium is an acronym that I'm going to share with you right now. It's T times E times F. Time, energy, and family. Okay? Or force. So what happens is, there is medium has TEF, cost has TEF, and value has TEF. What that means is that, see if you can see that right there, okay? It means that when you have something that you have, that it has value, you have to decide, how much is it going to cost me to hold on to that value? How much is it going to energy do I have to fight for that value? And then there's the same thing for cost. So how much is it going to cost me to be involved in this particular thing that you're going to give it a title and name to, whatever the objective is? How much energy do I have to put into it, and how much family time do I have to give up? But then value is, how much family time do I gain? How much energy do I get for doing my passion, for doing something that's truly important? How much time will I gain in the long run if this is the right thing for me? Because we can do a lot of things. You know, you can get involved in a job and spend the cost of your energy into that, and then come out because you find out that it wasn't for you. Think about it like a young father who doesn't have all the means to take care of his family, and he decides he's going to go get a job, right? So you get the job because that's important. Why is important? Because you're going to take care of your kids. Out of a concern, there's nothing wrong with it. But in the long run, what is the actual value that you get? You're paying a price in one direction. When if you sit down and you take the time and you analyze and you do a brain map, and not only do you do a brain map, but once you write it down, I'd suggest you write it on paper. When you take that paper, then you know what you do is you chunk it down to smaller pieces. And this is the second part. This is the brain hack is coming into this aspect. If you chunk it down to smaller pieces, what happens is you now create a phrase, something that you can repeat. And you take that phrase and you, before you go to bed, you say it. When you get up, you say it. And if you do for 3 days, you mention that phrase, every hour on the hour through your waking hours, what's going to happen is it's going to go from here to here, because then you start believing it. And then all of a sudden, you're able to take inspired action. Inspired action is the thing that happens because you notice it, because somebody says something, because you have an unexpected conversation. That is inspired action. But you will do your part because you have done the brain mapping, the mind mapping of writing all the pieces down, and you are taking one step at a time, not 20 steps or taking no steps, right? And so these two pieces come together. The mind map is writing all the pieces out, the goals, the priorities, and the cost behind each one of those, and what you gain, and the things that you shouldn't do, right? So I covered that. Now comes the brain hack. The brain hack is we have in every single one of us something called the RAS, reticular activating system. That means reticular from the eye, that you didn't see it before. And I would say that that's a misnomer. But either way, that's what it's called, that you didn't see it before, but now you see it everywhere because you're thinking of it. You see, you have to plant in your brain a seed that actually talks about the very thing that you desire in your heart. And so your brain has to have the vision, then your brain has to tell your mouth has to tell your ears have to tell your heart. And when you make that connection, you become unified in yourself, and it starts moving you in that direction. So back to the young father, or that has, you know, a couple kids, and you're trying to raise family. You think that it's safer to be at work, and it might be, but then because you have to justify being away from your kids, then you give up your dream of pursuing the things that you desire. And that, my friend, is when you start to get old. That, my friend, is when you start to pull away and you start to lie to yourself and convince yourself that what you're doing is the duty, that what you're doing is what you're supposed to do. You know what? I'm telling you that because I made those mistakes. And later on in time, I tried to correct it, and I tried to do too many things all at once. I learned a lot, but I also made a lot of mistakes. So I want to share that with you so that you don't make the same mistakes that I did, from the bottom of my heart, so that you can save the aches and the pain and the not so good memories as you're raising your children. Because if you figure this out and all of a sudden you do the brain hack of writing it down, of reading it, and you got to make love to your ideas, like the billionaire mindset says. You make love to those ideas. You write it down and you touch it in the morning, and you touch it at night when you go to bed, and you repeat it to yourself. And yeah, people are going to say, man, that's crazy. Well, you know what? You have to be a little crazy in this world in order to break free from the others. You have to have that passion. Passion is not just for your wife. Passion is just not for things that are fun. Passion is for you to bring out of the best of you. Because if you don't, then you will be working for somebody else who does have that passion, who does set those goals. And my friend, what I'm getting at is that I'm going to give you a really simple, so for 30 days, now we talked about 3 days, right? You're going to do that exact formula for 3 days. Every waking hour, you're going to make that phrase and you're going to repeat it to yourself. Now, over the next 30 days, I'm going to give you a formula that if you use this, it'll propel you to that place where you can be helping others. I want entrepreneurs to find a way in this hour of change, in this time of the coronavirus, of this time of pandemic fear, to find a way to propel themselves and be prepared now. Don't wait till it's over. You need to do this now. This is the opportunity. You're going to take the first 7 days and you're going to do what I call 6+1. You're going to work hard for 6 days and make no freaking excuses. 100% commitment to doing that job, to following your dreams. And on day 7, you're going to put it to the side, and you're going to walk out of gratitude, and you're going to spend time with your family, and you're going to not think about it. This will give you greater creativity, because if you leave it, if you park it to the side, it's literally a meditation. Don't worry. You know what? The energy is still there, and you pick it up again, and you go at it. You know, you prepare on Sunday, and you make sure that Sunday is this is the first day of the week, right? And that's why you think it's the first day, so that you can prepare. And if you got a job, then you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, those 5 days of the week, and guess what? And every opportunity that you have, don't just let it happen by chance. You create a plan, and you execute that plan, because you're gonna break it down through that brain map, that mind mapping. The brain hack is that your brain knows to go look for the answers, and then they'll come. Yeah, one day you may not be able to accomplish everything, but you're gonna have one goal that must be done that day. Okay, you're gonna have 2 more goals that are gonna be the top 3 of what can be done throughout the week. So you're the one that must be done, the other 2 that'll give you bonus, and a 4th one if you're able to push it. And this is gonna relate back. So you're gonna do that 4 times, 4 weeks, right? 7 times 4 is 28. You're working for 6 days, and you're resting for 1. You get down to the 28 days. Now you got 2 days left of the month, of the 30-day period. Okay, and then again, you're gonna chunk down. You're going to do what, and here's another bonus, something that has worked for me that I learned through the leadership of the military, and it's called AAR, After Action Review. You're going to review the last 28 days and look at what worked, what didn't work, why didn't it work. You're going to take an action. All those actions, you're going to review them, and you're going to make sure that you understand them properly, so that you can reset a goal, so that you can remap your path. You get it? Mind mapping. You're going to remap your path, and then you're going to set a new priority for the next 30 days. If it's still congruent with the thing that you had started with, then you start all over again as the major goal, and then everything else to support it to get you there. And then you do that every 30 days. You continue that cycle. Again, take a couple days of literally touching it, literally drawing it close to you, literally saying it with your lips, of literally looking at it, right? And you need that, because you need to cement it. You need to activate that RAS in order for it to start manifesting itself. Look, I know somebody else, Dean Graciosi, who was working on cars. And what happened with him is that he had activated that in him. And he was giving 100% at his job, of his self-employment job. And he had a conversation that ended up turning into an inspired action. And right there, a man heard him speak of his passion and supported him by giving him the loan that he needed. Is that going to happen to you? I don't know. Neither do you. But if you take the steps that I've given you, I guarantee you're going to be a changed person. And either way, let's say that it's not going to happen, but let's say what's the worst case, and here's where you're going to count the cost. If that was the worst that could happen, and you develop a discipline, what would you be teaching your children? What's the legacy that you would give them? You would give them a legacy of success, because true success is the pursuit of a worthy goal. It's what happens to you. It's who you become in that process of getting there. Now, I've been going on for about 20 minutes. I hope this has helped you. And if it has, do more than just give me a like. Check let's have a conversation. Let's talk about it. Let me see if I can work with you, and if there's something that we can do together. I've been there, and that's why I'm saying to you, look, if you need some help, give me a DM, and let's see if there's any way that we can help each other out, or if we can take the next step together. I would love to be able to at least have that conversation. All right, take care, and remember that everybody lights up a room, either when you walk in or when you walk out of that room. So be a light bringer in everything that you do. Take care.